Hi everyone, welcome back to your 30 days of hypopressives. I'm Alice. Today's day 4 and we're carrying on with our pelvic floor focus theme for the first 5 days. This time we're looking at tone and looking more at whole body strength and tone and working with the breath to get our pelvic floor moving and strengthening and helping to reduce all those symptoms that we don't want in our lives. So we're going to start off with standing position. We're going to have the feet hand length apart. Stretch your toes out and relax them. Have your knees a little bit soft there. You want to have your ribs stacked over your pelvis. So you never want to be tipped up like this. You want to have the chin back. And we're going to rock the balance point a tiny bit towards the balls of the feet there, keeping the shoulders nice and open there. And we're going to do a little bit of rocking in this position. So inhale, we're going to open up the arms, rock the balance a tiny bit towards the heels. Exhale, coming forwards. Lovely. Inhale and exhale. One more here, rocking back and opening up. Exhale, balance point forwards. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs here. If you want to, during the breath hold, you can put your hands on your rib cage just to feel what your ribs are doing. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale, rocking back, opening up into second position. Exhale, balance point forwards. Keep those knees nice and soft there. Inhale, rocking back and opening up. Exhale, balance point forwards. And then one more inhale, opening up, rocking back. Exhale, balance point forwards. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs here. Really nice and tall through the top of the head. Hold that for as long as feels comfortable. And then inhale, opening up, rocking back. Exhale, balance point forwards. Lovely. Inhale, rocking back and opening up. Exhale, balance point forwards. And then one more here. Inhale, rocking back and opening up. Exhale, balance point forwards, hands into third position, hold the breath. Slowly stretch your ribs here, and then we're just going to float the arms all the way down into first position here. 2 breaths here. Inhale, exhale. One more breath here. Exhale, hold your breath, stretch your ribs, arms are going to come up to the top nice and slowly. Draw the shoulders down there. Nice and long, chin back. 2 breaths again here. So we're going to inhale, exhale, arms coming down. And then one more breath here. Exhale. Hold the breath. Stretch your ribs. Bring the arms up all the way to the top. And then we're also going to curl all the way over into fourth diver position. Hands above the knees, looking up towards your belly button there. Lovely. Inhale. And exhale, feel that you've almost curled over something so you're not sort of squishing over. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. So we're going to transition here. So you're just going to hold your breath for as long as you can. Pop your hands down onto the floor, kneeling down with both knees or one at a time. And then coming up into kneeling position here. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to have a little drop down at the back of the pelvis here, knees and feet hip distance apart. We're going to rock the balance a tiny bit forwards, so you just feel a little bit of engagement through the back of the legs there. And we're going to do a bit of rocking. So inhale, opening up, rocking back. Exhale, balance point forwards, hands into first position. Inhale, rocking back and opening up. Exhale, balance point forwards. Lovely, and then one more inhale, rocking back and opening up. Exhale, balance point forwards. hold your breath, stretch your ribs, keep really nice and tall, keep that little tiny balance point forwards as you hold that position, eyes on the horizon, chin back, and then when you're ready, we're going to inhale, rocking back, opening up. Exhale, balance point forwards. Just give myself a bit more room there. Inhale, opening up, rocking back. Exhale, balance point forwards. And then one more. Inhale, opening up, rocking back. Exhale, balance point forwards. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs here. Keep the shoulders sort of feeling nice and heavy there. Chin back, eyes on the horizon. Hold that for as long as is comfortable, and then inhale, rocking back, opening up into third position there. Exhale, coming forwards. Inhale, rocking back, opening up. Exhale, balance point forwards. And then one more here. Inhale, rocking back, opening up. Exhale, balance point forwards. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs here. Lovely. And then inhale when you're ready. So we're going to come into quadruped position here. Fingertips towards each other or fingertips forwards, or you can make fists if you prefer. And we are going to stretch out with the right leg here into like a long position and just hold that for the breath work. Nice big breath in here. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Make sure your head hasn't dropped down. Feel that length all the way through the spine there. And then inhale. Exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Again, feel really nice and long through the top of the head. Keep the pelvis facing the floor, which you haven't sort of rocked open on one side. Inhale when you're ready. On the exhale, bring that leg in. Lovely. Inhale. Exhale, stretch the left leg out. And then one more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Feel that length all the way through your spine. And then inhale. Exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Lovely. Hold that for as long as feels comfortable. Super. And then inhale. Exhale, bring that leg in. Inhale. And exhale, elbows down, hands pressing into the floor. One more breath here. Inhale. On the exhale, fingertips together, elbows out, head lightly resting down. You're going to hold your breath. Slowly stretch your ribs here. And on this breath hold, we're going to swing the legs to the side. We're going to move our hands back. We are going to come into legs extended position here. Toes tucked up, knees and feet hip distance apart. Hands in first position here. Nice and tall. Make sure you haven't rolled down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs, keep nice and open and sort of upright through the chest here that you haven't dropped down. Really nice and tall, eyes on the horizon. Hold that for as long as is comfortable and then inhale. Exhale. We're just going to do one more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Again, nice and tall. Lovely wide ribs on the breath hold. You should feel that little bit of tugging in the throat there. And then inhale. Nice slow exhale. Bring the arms up into third position, shoulders down. Inhale. And exhale. And then one more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Get really nice and tall. Again, you can use a block to sit on if you find that you just sort of roll back like this. It's really important to keep the ribs stacked over the pelvis so we get the best connection with the pelvic floor, with the breath. And then when you're ready, we're going to come down into asymmetrical floor position. So we're going to dorsiflex at the ankles and bring the right foot onto the left knee. Bring that knee all the way towards your hand there and bring the right hand up into this top position here. And we're going to do 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. More breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs here. Feel nice and long through the spine. Press that knee towards the hand. Press the hand towards the knee there. And then when you're ready, inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Again, make sure your ribs are on the floor as well. Nice and long. Hold that for as long as it's comfortable and then inhale. On the exhale, raise that leg. Have the hand just gently pressing against the top of the leg there. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Lovely. Feels a little bit asymmetrical with the vacuum, which is completely normal. And then inhale. Exhale, pop that foot down. You're going to put the opposite foot on the knee. Bring that knee towards the right hand there. Keep the shoulders on the ground. You don't want to be reaching over. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Again, press that knee towards the hand, hand towards the knee. Lovely. And then inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Feel that length through the spine. Elbows nudging out. And then inhale. On the exhale, bring the leg up. Lovely. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Lovely. Hold that for as long as is comfortable. Super. And then when you're ready, we're going to stretch out the right leg, put the left leg over the top. We're going to put the left hand nearest to our chin, and then without bringing the back off the floor, just bring your arms all the way to the top there. Let the shoulders be heavy into the floor. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Lovely. Feel the openness and length through the vacuum there. And then we're going to switch over when you're ready. So right foot over the left, just switch your hands over at the top as well. If you have your hands here, that's also fine. Main thing is you want to keep your back of the ribs on the floor. Inhale and exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. And also in this position, the rib stretch feels a little bit less because the ribs are just open, more open anyway. So that's also normal. Lovely. And then inhale when you're ready. So just bring your knees in, slowly roll over and come up. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed that session. Let me know how you're getting on in the comments. I love to hear from you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.